Fireworks on this Monday as August is starting to inch to a close. We've got our hockey analyst, Frankie Corrado, joining us now. And yeah, the big news, Patrik Laine now a member of the Montreal Canadiens. Frankie, your initial thoughts on the deal for Montreal?
It makes sense for Montreal. Like, this is a player that you can try and make a bet on that has something there. He hasn't been able to achieve it for a number of reasons over the last few years. The main one being he just can't stay healthy. You know, last year is a little bit of a write-off, but the prior 2 seasons, he's right around a point per game player, and he's on pace to be almost a 70, 80 point guy. So the talent is there for Patrik Laine, and the expectations for the Montreal Canadiens is not exactly to make the playoffs right now. So it's a safe bet that you can try and bring him into an environment where you can see what he's got and not have to put him in a pressure-packed situation for his own sake, because we know what he's been coming off in Winnipeg and Columbus. I think it's a smart move by the Montreal Canadiens to try and see if you can get Patrik Laine back to where he was.
And he came out of the gate firing, right? He started his career with 3 straight 30-goal seasons, 36 in his rookie campaign, followed it up with 44 the next year, and then 30 in his 3rd year in the NHL. Do you see him regaining that form as a goal scorer predominantly, do you think?
I can see it, for sure. The number one thing is he has to stay healthy. That's been the biggest thing that has held him back. And so for Patrik Laine, like, the goal-scoring ability is there. And there's one X factor that the Montreal Canadiens have, and that's Marty St. Louis. And this is going to be his calling card as a coach, is how can you get a reclamation project, and I don't even want to call him that because he's been hurt, but it is a little bit of a reclamation project in Patrik Laine. How can you put your fingerprints on this player and get the most out of him? Like, we've seen him with Nick Suzuki, Juraj Slafkovsky, Cole Caulfield, all those young defensemen. Marty St. Louis has his fingerprints all over those players. If he can do the same thing to Patrik Laine and get him back to where he can be, that'll be a great achievement for Marty St. Louis to show that what his calling card really is as a player development and coach.
Because the goal, of course, is to make the playoffs and to win the Stanley Cup. So they had a relatively quiet offseason until this Monday and this blockbuster trade. Do you think the team has done enough now that they can compete for a playoff spot?
I'm not quite there that they're a playoff team yet, but they're taking the steps, and this is part of it. Like, you probably bring in Patrik Laine not so much to just see what he's got this year, to see if you can turn this around for the long term, and he can join this young nucleus of players moving forward when you eventually do try and make the playoffs. And I think the Montreal Canadiens, they're right where they need to be. You know, it's really crowded at the top of the Atlantic Division. You have Toronto, Boston, Florida, Tampa Bay. None of those teams are going anywhere. And there is some money on the books here for Montreal that you would like to see move off of it. That is going to happen organically, but now Patrik Laine has a chance to kind of tie himself to this young core group of players in Montreal and see if he can be a part of the solution moving forward and not the problem.
And you're right. It's definitely an intriguing move, and the dividends could be huge for the Montreal Canadiens. And we thought it would just be a nice, quiet summer day in the NHL. Nope. Thanks for this, Frankie.